This is the Moza Racing KS wheel, and believe me when I say, it's a whole new level for Moza. Listen to this. It's got dual clutch paddles, illuminated buttons with customizable colours, the excellent full metal quick release, a classic rev light, multiple dials and switches, lightweight, rubber grips, 300mm width, independently connectable, making it compatible with non-Moza wheelbases, and best of all, it costs considerably less than the Moza GS and FSR wheels. It's a total bullseye in my books. Let's go over it. Thanks to Moza Racing for providing the KS wheel for review. If you know my videos, you know I aim to be fair and true, and I'm not afraid to criticise, but always judge for yourself. If you do head over to buy a KS wheel, check the links in the description to go there and you'll help support me to do more. And thanks to everyone who's previously done so. Thanks also to my YouTube members. From the first moment I laid eyes on the KS, I was in love. Here comes a proper GT style thing that looks like the Ferrari 488, Porsche 911 and Mercedes GT3 steering wheels had a baby. It simultaneously looks like all of them, yet isn't. It's beautiful. The chassis is made of carbon fibre reinforced composite with a distinct weave effect on display. The rubberized grips are 300mm apart. That's the sweet spot in my opinion, not too narrow and not too wide. Flanking them are 2 scroll dials and 10 buttons within easy reach of your thumbs. 2 directional thumbsticks stand ready, as do 3 rotary dials in the centre of the wheel. Heading it all up is a rev limiter strip. And at the back, you've got 2 magnetic shifter paddles and dual clutch paddles, and the data cable port for connecting the KS wheel to third-party non-Moza wheelbases. That's not needed if you run a Moza wheelbase. The wheel works via the internal connections in the quick release, which is the same as on all the other Moza wheels, one of the best QR systems in use today. The KS dips in the middle of the top side, reminding me so much of a Williams F1 steering wheel, shaped to stay out of the way of any digital dashboards you might have just in front of you. I think you'll agree with me that this thing is just packed to the rafters with things you just want from a wheel. The KS feels to me like it's the first of a completely new, better generation of Moza Racing kit, a second wave where they've had time to implement feedback from their initial offerings and come back stronger. They have listened loud and clear to their customer base and built this thing according to a wish list. Allow me to give you a few examples. People didn't quite like the slightly immature looking rev lights on the previous Moza wheels, so they gave this a classic look. People always found the shifters too loud as standard and almost always fitted the shifter cushions, so this time they're fitted as standard, reducing noise. People didn't like how the illuminated buttons on previous wheels were pre-labelled and couldn't be altered, so they left the buttons blank this time and gave us a sticker sheet instead. People want to use Moza wheels on non-Moza bases, so they made the KS capable of doing that. Those were all things I wished for, so the KS is almost built for me, but it's just an all-round crowd pleaser and covers almost everything anyone would want from a wheel of this type. It weighs 1200 grams, which is on the lightweight side, great for using on lower power bases and still retaining clear, crisp force feedback. If you don't have a Moza wheelbase, it can be used on whatever you're using with the help of the universal hub and third-party QR adapter, which enable the wheel to communicate with your PC via USB to allow it to talk to the Moza Pithouse software directly. You don't lose out on any functionality at all connecting this way, it's just an extra cable to worry about. Here's the KS working on a Fanatec wheelbase, but you could have this on anything with a standard 6x70 or 3x50 steering wheel bolt pattern. The Moza Universal Hub and third-party adapter needed to do this cost around £60 put together, so add that to the KS's sticker price if that's what you want to do. The illuminated buttons are capable of being really bright and you get a fair spread of stickers to use on them. Combine this with a range of colours to choose from for each button and you could easily be stuck in your seat for ages just choosing your layout and scheme. The rev limiter lights, as with the other wheels, can be customised with different colours and progression curves. Both the rev limiter and the push buttons can be made more or less bright. The shifter paddles feel great, there's a decent magnetic toggle to them, but they are much quieter than the paddles on previous Moza wheels. The clutch paddles seem to be really smooth, an improvement over the previous generation Moza wheels, and they do their job without complaint. I can spot some cost-cutting measures that make this obviously less expensive to make than the GS wheel, for example. Clearly the rubber grips instead of Alcantara or leather will cut production complexity, as will folded sheet metal shifter and clutch paddles instead of milled and machined ones, and plastic rotary dial knobs instead of metal, but that's really it. The quality of the finish and assembly is superb and very difficult to criticise. Everything combines to make the KS the best Moza wheel by far, in my opinion, outright. The GS and FSR are great and they have got impressive elements to them, but the KS just feels more refined with fewer weaknesses, an overall better wheel. I can't find anything to pick at on this. It feels like it's been designed by a totally different team that's taken all the good and bad feedback from their first wave of sim racing gear and put it into action without losing any of the passion or enthusiasm in the process. I love it when manufacturers listen to criticism and feedback, and nobody can deny the KS displays a willingness to listen. Since they launched their sim racing campaign, they've made the sort of progress that you can only really make if you are dead set on making a good impression amongst the sim racers, and that to me commands some respect. If you've been skeptical about the quality of Moza racing until now, thanks to the KS, I can tell you, it's safe to come out now. This thing is genuinely great, and for the money, it's just an absolute banger and my new #1 wheel. And thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and don't forget to use the links in the description if you head over to buy one of these KS's or anything else sim racing related for that matter. Cheers again.